His face.
What is it? The news guys. It's Thursday, November 18th, 2021. This is the Squirrel Report.
8:22 p.m.
I always modeled it after Sam the Eagle.
That's pretty good, Jay.
That's my Sam the Eagle. Oh, so nothing's going on out there, so we don't have anything to talk about.
Are you allowed to talk about it, Jay?
Mostly, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Okay. I mean,
yeah, I think that for the most part, it's not. There's not a lot of gun rights. It's more self-defense. It's politicization of the legal process, which is downstream. Crap. Yeah.
You know, one thing is I've been watching the lawyer feeds on this, mostly Ricada Law.
We've started this entire conversation without prefacing what we're talking about.
Everybody knows what we're talking about.
Yeah,
for posterity, posterity, we need to.
Well, if we say the word, maybe YouTube will.
That's right. We'll get deplatformed.
It's really interesting the amount of interest in this. So some of these lawyer YouTube feeds are getting more simultaneous viewers than like the stations broadcast, like MSNBC, PBS, stuff like that. There's hundreds of thousands of people watching this thing. And in fact, there was a kerfluffle earlier in the week or last week where YouTube cut all the people that were rebroadcasting the feeds. So all the lawyer chatter channels got their feed cut for their live streams on YouTube for a copyright violation. And we lost Brita. So they cut it for a copyright violation until somebody informed YouTube that this was not copyrightable content.
It's going to say
it's the court feed. There's no copyright on court feed. So whoops. Funny how they cut all the feeds for all the streaming feeds of the lawyers, but left it all up on PBS, MSNBC, et cetera, et cetera.
MSNBC, who is no longer welcome in a courtroom.
Yeah, funny that.
Yeah, and that's it all plays in. One of the MSNBC journalists apparently got a traffic citation because they were following the jury van.
Yeah,
including going through a red light to continue following the van on orders of his boss,
who immediately disavowed him.
Yeah. So, it's interesting that they're trying so hard. They've already had instances where people were recording the jurors leaving the courthouse, and we have,
well, they know
veiled threats and.
Well, I think that the media knows that already the jury is feeling that pressure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's
no question that, hey, if you vote the wrong way, don't blame us if someone burns your house down. And by the way, if you defend yourself, guess what? You're going to be right back in this court, only in Kyle's seat.
Right.
And the judge is already getting death threats for him and his family and everybody else.
Yeah.
So I don't think the judge is going to be too swayed by that. He seems like he seems to have a robust disposition for not giving a fuck about stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they tried to cancel him over making a joke about the containers off of Los Angeles. It's just like people were like, fuck you.
Yeah.
And I believe it was within 24 hours of the president calling Satchel Paige the Great Negro.
Well, again, it's Joe Biden. We had We had months of everyone telling us the president was not responsible for gas prices, not responsible for gas prices. Instant, they go down, CNN. Oh, you could thank Joe Biden for falling gas prices.
Yeah, I paid $3.29 for gas today, so I don't want to hear it.
It's after spending literally months of hearing people, the president has no effect on gas prices, you stupid right wingers. Well, first of all, we just went through 4 years of being told that every single bad thing that happened was the fault of the president. So fuck you, live by your own rules. Fuck you. And B, the fucking ficus in chief. First thing he did, he's a fucking plant. First thing he did when he came into office was nixed the XL pipeline, which was a largely symbolic bullshit movement, but it was a giant tip of the hat to the greenies.
Yep.
And gas prices have been going up ever since.
He also canceled new drilling leases on federal land.
Right.
And he's talking about canceling another pipeline that's already in production and has been for a long time. So,
when the president actively discourages fossil fuel production and refinement, etc., and gas prices go up, don't say, oh no, those are unrelated things.
Didn't they just say what Jen Psaki this past week was like, oh, gas prices going up is evidence that we need to focus more on green energy.
Yeah.
Okay. And
inflation's good.
Yeah.
Great. And because it means you're spending your money.
Did you have to, I assume when you filled up you were getting regular, right? Did you see what the price was for premium?
3. Well,
because that's the one that's always shocking.
No. Is it premium like the third one or the middle one?
It's the third one.
I don't even look at that. I don't know.
The Harley takes premium.
It's usually like 50 cents or more a gallon.
Yeah, but it has a little bitty tank. Right?
Yeah, the good part is it's like 3.5 gallons. So even if it's like
$18, I noticed that the middle one was like $3.69.
Yeah, it's probably like $3.99, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because they're like the people that need premium are like Corvettes and high-end BMWs, and it's we can soak them.
The people that need premium aren't going to quibble over an extra 60 cents or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The RAV4 is fine on the regular.
It's absolutely 6+ years on plain Jane gasoline. And yeah, let me tell you, with the prices going back up, it's I'm very glad it's not the big Ram. Sorry, Alan.
I get great mileage in my truck.
Not as great as a RAV4.
Probably not. When I'm in electric mode, it goes to infinite.
And you get about 8 miles before the battery dies.
Oh, it's less than that. It's not designed for that, though. It's not. It's
not.
The battery designed to assist in start stops in city traffic. That's
We're already veering way too far into car talk with click and clack for Breeders. So I'll stop now. So let's see. Yeah, and one of the best analysis I saw in a holistic big picture thing was that maybe it wasn't the smartest thing for Kyle to do what he did on an individual level. Like the smarter thing is to stay home. He wouldn't be in this situation. None of this.
Yeah.
For the individual, the smarter move is to stay home.
Yeah.
But it's not the smart move for society.
No.
Because the alternative is letting unchecked riding, letting them dictate, and letting them, the rioters, the people backing the rioters, the people supporting the rioters, the people who say it was a rally. They were burning fucking businesses. That's not a rally.
It was not a protest. It was not a rally. It was a riot.
It was a riot. Absolutely. It was a riot.
A bunch of criminals setting shit on fire. That's what it was.
They were burning shit down, firing guns into the air, attacking people.
But but they were also doing that thing that the sociopaths do, and everybody, everybody knows it because they've almost everyone's experienced this behavior where they provoke an escalation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's,
You know,
I mean, that's been a Westboro Baptist trademark for years.
Right. They provoke.
about that, lefties.
They're setting dumpsters on fire and pushing them towards cops' cars. They're ratcheting
Yeah.
up. They're ratcheting up the lawless behavior, and then when society reacts, they go, "We weren't doing anything. We were just having a protest."
I'm a paramedic. Look at my hat.
Exactly.
It says paramedic.
Right.
Right.
I'm illegally carrying a handgun, but I'm a paramedic.
Right.
You know, everybody says,
see...
I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Well, I was just going to bring up the fact that everybody says, oh, Kyle shouldn't have been there. What was he doing there? And if you look at the kid's background, I can understand why he was there. His father lives in Kenosha. His grandmother lives in Kenosha. He has other family members in Kenosha. Also, he was in like the Police Explorers group in high school. He took all sorts of first aid type stuff, and he was certified. He worked as a lifeguard, and during the days previous to him having to defend his life, he was out there cleaning up graffiti.
Right.
So, and so if you look at that sort of situation, he thought he was out there doing something good and helping, and that's what sounds like. That's what he was all about. Yeah. He was a kid trying to do the right thing, and he was a kid, and he probably had been there, and somebody said, "Come on," that sort of thing, and he just felt like, okay, I can help.
If I'm not mistaken, the dealership where he was actually they're like friends of the family, or he knows the people that own the dealership there too.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like he just randomly showed up to a parking lot.
Well,
right.
According to the children of the dealer owner who testified on the stand, they had no idea who Rittenhouse was. They'd never seen him before. Had no idea.
Yeah.
Those are not my pants.
We have no idea why there's pictures of us standing around together. We don't know this guy. Just complete bullshit.
They're looking at, they don't want to get sued, but
yeah. So they lie on the stand.
The other thing that goes unstated, Kyle shouldn't have been there. How about the people lighting shit on fire shouldn't have been there?
Yeah.
And that's
many of them crossed state lines, right? Many of them crossed state lines.
He went 16 miles to be there, which in that area, 16 miles to a New Yorker is like, oh, that's the other side of the world. 16 miles in Wisconsin that's next door.
He lived in a bedroom community of Kenosha. It just happens to be in another state. Sort of like Arlington is a bedroom community to Washington, D.C.
Right.
Same exact
or
thing.
Gary, Indiana is a bedroom community to Chicago.
Right.
In another state.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah.
It
I bet
happens.
you on any I bet you on any given day. Oh. Sorry, Jay. We got a delay. That's what we're trying to deal with. On any given day, I bet you see plenty of other states' license plates in Kenosha. Kenosha's in Kenosha's in Wisconsin and what the other one's in
Illinois.
Michigan. Is it Illinois?
It's Illinois.
Okay, so Illinois. I bet you see, it's like Texarkana where the city straddles the state. There's state there's no
There's a lot of Massachusetts plates at the New Hampshire liquor stores.
Sure. Exactly.
What the hell? I was going to say something and I forgot.
The StreamYard delay got you.
just gone. My mind is an Etch-a-Sketch.
Shake it.
It's all gone. But the whole, he shouldn't have been there. Well, neither should the people of lighting stuff on fire. But
sure,
something that's been kind of I shouldn't say puzzling, but something I've kind of been chewing on the past day or so is the timeline of the actual defensive shootings. Because it wasn't like he went 1, 2, 3.
It was 2.5. It was 2.5 minutes start to finish.
But there was time between. It wasn't he wasn't.
Sure.
He didn't go 1, 2, 3. This was he had
the first one. The first one happened. If you watch the video, the first one happened, and then he kind of backed off, and then he circled around, and he was looking. He was on the phone calling someone. I think he was calling the police.
Right.
And he was
trying to get to the police.
He was looking at the guy, and then he saw the mob coming from him, and that's when he angled off and went running down the street to the police line. And then like 30 seconds later, they were hitting him on the back of the head with stuff and swinging skateboard at his head. And then the final 3 defensive. So there was 3 defensive shootings. He shot at Jump Kick Man.
Yeah, he missed him.
And missed him. Shot at Huber once and killed him almost instantly. And then when he was down on the ground from that is when Grosquitz approached him with his hands up. And then when Rittenhouse dropped his gun, Grosquitz pulled out his pistol and pointed at him. And that's when, so the first one happened. And then there was a period of time, almost a minute or so. And then,
there was also the guy that tried to take the gun away from him.
Right. So
that was the first guy.
But that was the first guy, Rosenberg.
That's right.
So that was the first one. So there was the first one happened, and then there was a kind of a delay, and then the next 3 happened almost in like a melee in the middle of the street.
But the first one, he shot someone and killed them with a rifle,
right?
And they still attacked him.
Yes.
So think about the mindset of that mob. This dude has a rifle.
Yeah.
Has no qualms about shooting you in the fucking head.
They wanted to kill him.
But, just taking Rittenhouse completely out of the equation, that kind of, you got to people have well, if I'm confronted by a mob, just shoot one, the rest will scatter. No, they won't.
Well, I saw testimony from that Gage guy, Mr. Bicep.
Lefty.
Lefty. I saw a testimony, and he said that he was unaware that Kyle had killed someone.
He's lying.
Well,
he's lying.
I don't know.
They all knew he did. They were trying to kill him before he could get to the police. They all knew because he was there. He was there in the mob in the car lot and was one of the ones chasing him down the street. So they knew exactly. They all knew what was going on. They were just trying to kill him.
Yeah.
I think what's his name? The first one, Rosenbaum, whatever his name.
Guildenstern, I don't
something.
know.
Yeah. I think, because you got to remember, this guy's a child molester, and this guy is a vile. I mean, he didn't just look at dirty pictures on the screen. He physically, sexually assaulted children, and I don't mean, honest officer. She looked 18. No, these are children,
little boys.
And I think
Tucker Carlson. He died as he lived, chasing minors.
I think he's because you look at Kyle. He's even when he's 18, he still looks like a little kid. He doesn't look like he looks younger than he is.
Yeah.
I think the predator instinct kicked in on this guy. He thought he was going to take that gun away from him and kill the kid.
This guy was like mentally unstable. He had just gotten out of a mental hospital that afternoon, correct?
Right.
He gets out of the mental hospital and he decides, I'm going to go down to the riot. And these are the types of people. These are the types of people that attend these functions. They're criminals and miscreants and felons, and it's because they know that it is a situation where they can get away with anything.
Yep.
They can light buildings
Yeah,
on fire. They can
Right.
beat people up. I mean, they know that the police are standing back. And
Yep.
so they can
The-
get, they can loot buildings. They can set shit on. They can do whatever they want.
Right.
And,
And they know they have cover
that's
because
the
they
type
can
of people that, yeah.
they can do that thing they always do. What? I wasn't doing anything. I'm just protesting.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a mostly peaceful protest. But
Right.
yeah, the jump kick man is the perfect example. He came forward and offered to testify, and they took one look at his criminal record and went, "Oh Jesus, no! We have no idea who this guy is."
He offered it to testify in return for immunity.
Right. And that's how good of a person he was.
And then the
prosecution
prosecutor said
it.
no, and then pretended they didn't know who he is or where he was or anything.
Oh, we don't know who he is.
Right.
And that's another little lesson to take away from this, is that it is no longer hypothetical when we say, if you have to use your firearm in a defensive situation, bad things can happen. We now have a concrete example of that.
Yep.
That this is what can happen. This is a potential outcome. You can have a piece of shit prosecutor who's going to break the law, who is going to ignore procedure. He's going to ignore the judge. He's going to withhold evidence that could find you not guilty because he wants to put you in jail.
Yep.
Yeah.
And in a broader picture than the trial going on, I really do think that this is a moratorium on self-defense.
Absolutely.
When you've got the prosecutor saying, well, just having a gun means you intended something.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the end game here. He said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah. Well, the prosecutor is an idiot. I mean, an idiot, that guy. But yeah, these like, oh, if you went there with a gun, you're intending to shoot someone. Or if you have the bigger weapon, that means you're not allowed to fight back. Or I don't know how he put it, but like you brought a gun to a fist fight, or you're not allowed to defend yourself with a gun if the other guy doesn't have. What the hell? I mean, from my standpoint, one of the reasons I carry a gun is because I'm 5 feet tall and I'm disabled, and I'm not so strong. I'm not fighting off anybody. I'm not. I think some dude tries to get me. I'm not winning that fight. It's called the Great Equalizer for a reason. I'm just putting it out there.
One thing I learned today is Wisconsin is currently trying a woman for defending herself against an attacker. She shot him, and now they're doing the same thing to her. They're doing to Rittenhouse.
What is up, Wisconsin?
For murder.
Yeah,
it's those Soros prosecutors. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
It's those Soros prosecutors.
Wow.
Their goal, it's like Jay said, their goal is to eliminate self-defense as a thing. They want the state to have a monopoly on all violence. They want us to be like England, where you can't defend yourself. Even if somebody breaks into your house, you're supposed to stand idly by and get stabbed or whatever. I don't know. But
this is you think about it, this is bigger than gun control.
It is.
You can have all the guns you want.
You just can't use them.
If you use them, you're going to jail.
Right.
Even if it's clear-cut self-defense, even if a dude is pointing a gun at your face. Now that leads me right into the defense sucks.
Oh, it's horrible.
Because if I were the defense attorney, I would have followed up the prosecutor pointing a rifle at people. I would have pointed a pistol right at the prosecutor. Really? Because the prosecutor's whole point was he's provoking.
I was astonished that nobody on the jury, when the prosecutor pointed the rifle at, nobody protested. Nobody was like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
Don't point that thing at me,
Yeah.
With your finger on the trigger.
Nobody dove out of the way, but.
I'll be right back.
Oh, uh-oh.
We just got to go feed the cat.
I got to go do cat duty. I'll be right back.
I think the only thing that saved the defense is the prosecutors were worse than the defense.
Yes, I agree.
The prosecution has been horrifically bad on so many levels. They've, the judge has almost thrown the case out several times now.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are wondering why he didn't. And obviously, the lawyers that say they know the judge say that he likes to give the jury every benefit. He wants the jury to decide, not
there's,
So I guess you can say that. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a legal, I'm not a legal expert. I just watch him on TV and, I don't know anything about this stuff, but it seems to me that the defense is too laid back for what's going on. I don't, maybe they know, maybe I don't know enough about what happens. Maybe I don't know. Maybe if they were more forceful, they'd piss off the judge. I don't know how this stuff works, but it just seems
turn
like
people off.
It just seems like they're letting the prosecutors get away with shit they shouldn't.
They should have
let them
objected
get away
more.
with.
I agree.
I have. But
been
again,
watching it.
I don't know. Maybe that pisses off the judge. I don't know how this stuff works. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not.
And we'll see. We'll find out. I would imagine we're probably not going to have a verdict until Monday.
I don't know. The chattering lawyers seem to think that an anti-gun Karen is in charge of the jury. So we'll see.
But and then the flip side is, doesn't it only take one juror to hung jury?
It has to be unanimous both ways.
Because this is let's not forget, a capital case.
Oh yeah,
he could be facing the death penalty.
Yeah, I don't think that. But because the judge is gonna, the jury does not decide the punishment in this case. The judge does. So this is one of those states where they found him guilty, and then they got to go back and figure out what the punishment is. The judge sets the punishment. So I think again, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but it seems like the judge thinks this is clear-cut self-defense. I don't think the judge thinks this is in any way murder.
That and why did he bring a rifle? Well, that's the only firearm he can legally have.
Right.
He's not 21. He can't have a handgun. So that's why he had a rifle.
Yep.
It's not, he didn't just, I'm going to grab this big scary rifle and go shoot me some protesters. No. That's not what happened. No matter how you try to paint that, there's too much evidence of this kid trying to get the hell away from people.
Yeah.
And it's just,
I don't honestly, and I have a hard time. I have a hard time putting myself in the mindset of a hardcore leftist, but I don't see how anybody can watch that video and not come back thinking this is clearly self-defense.
Well, he's a white supremacist, Alan.
Yeah, but
that's my favorite. That's my favorite. Please explain.
Unless you're one of these people, I can see a certain mindset that goes, well, he was 17. What was he doing there? He shouldn't have been there in the first place. This is all his fault because he was there.
He went there looking for trouble. And
right.
I don't agree. I can understand how someone might think that.
Sure. Especially if the only thing they know about the case is what they saw on CNN or ABC, NBC, CBS,
Yes.
Because they all lie.
The media.
You watch CNN, and what you think happened was that his mom drove him across the state lines with his rifle to go shoot black people at the BLM riot.
And his victims were all black.
Right.
Because
he was a racist.
Pole. Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's lots of people out there that don't realize that all the criminals that attacked him were white. And not only that, but they were white people that are on video for hours that day and previous days running around shouting the N-word with the complete R over and over and over and over and over again.
The complete R.
The complete R. Because I have it on authority that the N-word with the complete R is far worse than the abbreviated that ends in A.
Right.
So that's what I'm told. I don't know. My homies tell me that.
Your homies, your fellow Africans.
That's right. My fellow Africans. You know. But yeah, it's just
Yeah, it's a mess, and
yep.
I do wonder how they're bringing in the National Guard and blah blah blah. How much that's going to play in, because I don't understand how this is not fucking RICO bullshit. This is mob tactics, like literal mafia tactics.
Yeah.
This is a nice court case you have here.
Well,
it'd be a shame if somebody were to burn your city down.
It's
we
not
don't
RICO
like the
because
verdict.
it's the government doing it.
Hmm.
You can't RICO the government. Or can you?
You have a point, yes.
I don't know.
But this is the kind of stuff the mob does.
Yeah.
If this trial goes the wrong way, well, it'd be a shame if this whole place burned down.
That's the whole witness tampering thing comes from the mob.
Yep.
And the whole reason they don't show the jurors on TV and stuff like that is because of the mob trials where, if
witnesses ended up dead.
If you found Vinny guilty, well, you were going to be in trouble.
Yep.
Sorry for
you've got MSNBC
racially
MSNBC.
profiling you, Jay.
Then you've got MSNBC directing its producers to follow the jury boss. And the response is, well, you're kicked out of the courtroom. Well, you're kicked out of the courtroom at the end when it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Now.
Thank goodness for the
opposite effect. Maybe it has the opposite effect. Maybe you're going to have people be like, "Oh, fuck you." Then I know how I'm voting.
Imagine this trial in the 90s when we didn't have the internet.
Oh.
And we didn't know. And nobody had a camera on their cell phone to take the video.
That's right.
This would have happened in a vacuum.
Well, the whole thing started because of the Jacob Blake thing, right?
Right.
Yep. Which in and of itself was complete and utter bullshit.
Well,
on the scale of Michael Brown bullshit.
Right.
He charged the cops were there on a domestic violence complaint because he violated a restraining order, and he charged the cops with a knife.
Yep.
I think that was he was going for it. It doesn't matter.
I think
the complaint was called in. The complaint was called in. He says he has a knife, and he wouldn't show his hands. And that's what happens.
Right. Yeah, they were
a racist thing. If he'd been,
and that's a similarity to the Rittenhouse trial, because I think it was Andrew Branca that was saying that, you put a cop in place of Rittenhouse. Is a cop going to let a guy charge him within 4 feet without putting 2 bullets in him? No cop anywhere would let that happen. Nowhere.
Well, I mean, when did this happen? 2020, before the election, right? So
yeah, it was the summer of love.
The media was, that's right. The media was just, grabbing onto any police shooting a black guy for any reason.
Isn't it amazing that in the past 11 months, there has not been a single time when a black man was shot by a white police officer? It has not happened.
Crazy.
Apparently
Joe Biden cured the systemic racism in less than a year.
Because we know all about it if it happened, right?
Exactly. Well, and that's the interesting thing. If Rittenhouse is found not guilty and there are riots, how does that square with, it's President Trump's fault that he's been stirring things up?
It'll still be Trump's fault.
It will still be Trump's fault because it happened back then.
Yeah.
And it was the
that's
racist,
right.
It was the racist system that let a white supremacist go free.
Well, they're saying that it's unlikely that these riots will happen again because The riots are not being funded anymore.
Right.
Yeah, the riots are no longer useful. They're counting.
Well,
People in anymore.
unlike the last time, the governor's already called in the National Guard.
Yeah.
It hadn't even been a riot yet, and he called in the National Guard.
Yeah, they've got
Funny
more
how
troops.
that didn't happen last year.
Yeah.
They've got more troops in Kenosha, Wisconsin than they did in Afghanistan.
I'll be right back.
Funny how that's completely gone.
Yeah. Crickets.
Nobody, there's still Americans in Afghanistan, but we've forgotten about it. Look, we pushed it off the front page with the Rittenhouse trial.
Those aren't real Americans. Nobody cares.
Yeah. Well, and the Rittenhouse trial has kept Kamala's historically low approval ratings off of the news.
And Biden's historically low approval ratings. They're all
Well, when steak's $18 a pound, people tend to notice that.
That's the cheap steak, Jay. The good steak you actually want is more like $25 or $30 a pound.
We talking about steak?
Yes.
Yeah, the price of steak.
I went to Walmart today, and I can't even afford Walmart steak.
It's crazy.
Like I saw steaks at Walmart, and I'm like, "What the fuck? This is Walmart." Like I don't buy steak
even the cheap hamburgers.
I'm just saying, like, no, everything is more expensive. Like, what was I looking at that I was kind of shocked at the price at?
Thanks, Biden.
I was what?
Let's go, Brandon. You saw what DeSantis did, didn't you?
Oh, Brandon, yeah.
Oh, perfect for those who haven't heard.
They're saying, "Oh no, it's just a coincidence."
It's not a coincidence.
In Florida, signed an anti-vaccine.
Yeah,
it
anti-mandate.
certain people. An anti-vaccine mandate in Brandon, Florida.
At a Brandon dealer, was it Toyota? Brandon car dealership. Brandon, some dealership named Brandon.
That's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfect.
What were you going to say was more expensive, Brita?
Sorry.
Again, I was at Walmart, like Old Spice body wash. I was like, what? It's just like random stuff. The price is just skyrocketed. It's just strange.
It's completely unrelated, though. It's just, if the shelves aren't empty.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. It's nuts.
That's, and that's got to turn around quick.
It won't.
Because it better, because that goes
How?
in. We start.
How will it? How?
It won't, Jay.
I don't know how you go backwards. I don't know.
The system is broken. It was just in time to a razor's edge with the entire supply chain out of China.
Sorry.
And now that's broken. And it
life.
has to be re-engineered, and that takes time. The factories have to be moved to some other country. The shipping has to be redone. All this infrastructure that got built up to handle the flood of goods from China over the last 20 years has to be rebuilt for somewhere else. And why does my phone not recognize my face?
Well,
it's been nice knowing you, Alan. Are you a vampire?
I don't think so.
Do you not show up in a mirror?
Jay, that's a good question.
Does
Face ID work on vampires?
it's not a mirror; it's a camera.
It's a camera.
Wait. Do they not show up in pictures?
That's the theory: is they don't show up.
Could a vampire use their phone then to? Whoa. If other people can see them.
Maybe they can't. Well, I don't know. I guess it depends on the camera. I don't know how that works.
Speaking of phones.
Yeah.
Mike broke his phone, didn't he?
No.
Okay.
Not yet anyway.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe. Let me just ask you both, as men who carry smartphones. And I'm assuming that your phones are of a size, like they're the size, right?
The large print version.
Jay?
I have a
He's staring at it
10R.
right now.
Yeah, I'm using mine, so I can't show you. If I have, do I have a? I don't have
Well,
a mirror.
which iPhone is it?
The 10R, the
Okay,
XR.
so yeah, so it's a bigger size. How do you carry your iPhones?
In my pocket.
Pocket, right front pocket, right where I used to keep my cigarettes.
Okay.
It's very convenient that I quit smoking right in time for smartphones to take over. So I had a largish rectangle to put in my pocket.
I'm assuming that most men have pockets big enough to hold like a big phone.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Women do not.
Pocket inequality.
I ordered a cell phone holster to go on his belt because he can't remember to keep in his pocket. He says it's uncomfortable in his pocket, so he left it on his desk at work. I'm assuming it's at work.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know what's going on. It's the habit thing.
I don't know.
So what I do is when I sit down somewhere, it doesn't matter if I'm in the car, at my desk, or anywhere else. If I sit down, the phone comes out of my pocket and it goes on the table.
Right.
And when I get up to go somewhere else, the phone goes back in my pocket. And that's how it works no matter where I am. It's just a habit. And he doesn't have that habit. Because he just now started carrying a big phone like that. The little phone he used to carry probably just stayed in his pocket the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah, it's even though we have big pockets, having a brick like that in your pocket when you sit down is not comfortable. So almost everyone just pulls it out. And I think he just doesn't have the habit yet.
Welp.
That's my bet.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And with the 10R, it does the wireless charging. So I have little pads everywhere.
You set it on a pad, right?
I have one at work. I have one here at my desk here. And it's just you just take it out of your pocket, set it down on the charger. It's always charging, which I know it's not great for the battery. Blah 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 blah. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
It's not that bad.
But
not with modern batteries.
You're right. It's like even in my car, I have it plugged in, or it's propped up in the cup holder, so I can use the GPS if I need to. Right. I have the worst sense of direction you will ever find. If you can go left or right, I will go the wrong way 95% of the time, just because it's just like I don't know.
We could have a contest.
I will get on the highway going driving the wrong way, but I'll be on the northbound side when I need to go south. And that's why I'm like, Waze? Why, yes, thank you, please. I have that. I have a standalone GPS, and my car has sat nav. So I'm like, I've got 3 redundant systems, and I still print out maps from.
If I moved away from Northeast Ohio, I would have no sense of direction at all.
Yeah, because there's not a lake.
Because I only know where's the lake. Where's the lake? That's north.
You'd have to move to some other city that had a large body of water next to it.
To the north.
Or
otherwise, I'm screwed.
Yeah, but you could get used to another direction as long as there was water. As long as there was a large body of water there.
I'm one of those. I'm a divining rod. Like where's the
divining
water to the north?
Yeah.
Also, you can see the lake from so many places.
Yeah.
When I was in college, we had a very large smokestack on campus. I don't remember what it was for, but it had lights. Shit. It had lights on the top. It had blinking red lights on the top. Whenever I went out, like to an off-campus party, I made sure I could see. I could see the smokestack, and then I was okay. If I couldn't see the smokestack, nope, wasn't going. Nope, too far. Sorry.
You could
be able to see the smokestack at all times. That way I can head towards it.
That's one thing I loved about Lubbock. Lubbock was built for the most part way after cars were invented. So the streets and it's flat. It's flat as a pool table. It's so flat that it rains so infrequently. They don't even have a storm drain system. The streets just flood when it rains. So, but the streets are all laid out in a perfect grid. North, south, east, west.
Yeah, it looks like a sheet of graph paper.
It's like, I forget which one it is. North, south is all numbers. East, west is all letters, and they're alphabetical. So you always know exactly where you are, and it's so easy. It was so easy to find anything that you didn't know where it was. All you had to know was the address and the cross street, and you could just boom right there.
Yeah,
crazy.
I'm used to Boston, which
Boston, the streets were all designed off of cow paths,
and they just throw in random one ways, and the good thing about
I still say Boston has the worst drivers of any place I've ever been. That's far.
Why I loved my Cadillac. When you got an old beat to shit Cadillac, you merge by pointing out a Mercedes. I would just try to dock the Nimitz with the nicest BMW. You're like, oh look, I'm in the lane.
Yep.
But the nice thing about Boston is it's so small that if you pick a direction and head that way, you'll find your way out.
Yeah.
Times
it's easy to get out of Boston.
It's just like,
it's a tiny city.
I took the wrong, screw it. You go one way, you'll eventually hit 93 or 90. And I can get my way home from either of those.
Yeah.
Yes, 90. Rita knows 90. Although in Boston, it's called the Mass Pike or just the Pike.
Oh. I live on 90.
Isn't that also like the Pennsylvania Turnpike? Isn't that also 90?
No, it's 80.
It's 80?
Yeah, yes, that is correct.
So it's further.
90 goes, I've been on 90 out in Wyoming. So
wow.
I didn't take it the whole way, but
wow.
It goes through South Dakota. It goes I think it goes all the way up to California. Or not California, probably Seattle.
I live off of Route 20, which is in Willoughby, we call it Euclid Avenue. And it does run coast to coast.
Really? Euclid Avenue? Wow.
Well, I mean, I don't know what it's called other places. But...
So that road, Euclid Avenue is like that road in the Shire that goes all the way to the Mordor. That one road.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, or anywhere. I mean, it goes like, kind of like along the lake shore. So like that kind of line in the latitude or whatever. Yeah. But I actually follow a Facebook page, and it's like the Route 20 Facebook page, and they post pictures of Route 20, across the country and stuff. And it's pretty diverse,
One of the
Route 20 also goes through East Cleveland. So it does like go through the hood, and it goes through the country, and it goes, it's kind of neat.
One of the things I've always wanted to do, just as a dumb thing, is rent an old Corvette and drive Route 66.
Just because.
Does that go north to south?
It goes from Chicago to Los Angeles.
Yeah, east west. And you can come out here and take 66 into DC, but I don't recommend it.
No.
See, I always wanted, if I had a lot of time, I would love to take Route 1 from Maine down to Florida.
Oh,
it would take forever.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Because it goes right through Boston. It goes right through, Alexandria, DC. It's right through all of the eastern seacoast.
Cool.
It'd be,
one of the weirdest roads I've ever driven on is that Pacific Coast Highway south from San Francisco. It basically hugs the coast, and the weird thing about it is in a lot of it, there's nothing there. It's like empty, and you're driving along. You're like, San Francisco's crowded as fuck, and an hour south, it's desolate. There's literally nothing there. There's so much nothing there, you can't even get cell coverage in a lot of places on it. Huh. It's weird, and then it's got to be California.
Well,
yeah.
Somebody passed a law or something, or made it or preserve land or whatever. But I mean, you're driving along and there's, the ocean's right over there, and you're like, oh, okay. And suddenly you're in Santa Cruz, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's got to be some protection.
I'm sure it
wanna
is, but it's the only major highway I've driven since cell phones were existed that you actually lost cell phone coverage along the way, and that hadn't happened in like 20 years or so. I don't know. It's been a long time. It's weird.
Well,
And then we're at the point now where it's like when you're on a highway and you lose cell phone coverage, you're like, what the fuck?
the hell's
This is
going
weird.
on? Waze won't work.
Where am I?
I have to.
Yeah.
I'm in
At
no
least
man's land.
You
Oh,
still get
no.
the map, but it won't tell you what the traffic is. I guess on the Pacific Coast Highway, you don't really have to worry about that. It's like just stay on
Not
it.
really. That's not really a thing. There's nowhere to get off. You're just you're just going.
Now, do they have like rest areas with gas stations along it, or?
Of course not. Why would they have that?
Hope you got a big gas tank.
California, you're lucky to find a gas station.
That's true. They're going to be all electric by 2035.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God.
I don't believe that. You think people in California are going to give up their gasoline cars? No way.
And their generators.
I mean, car culture was practically invented in California.
Yeah. I'm still floored by that we're just going to do away with the internal combustion engine. Good luck with that.
It's not going to happen.
So you're building more nuclear power plants, right? Oh no! we're gonna have wind and solar and unicorn farts powering everything.
Did you see the picture of that solar farm in China? You can Google it, but it was like the most kind of like dystopia kind of picture. It was like an entire mountainside.
Oh wow.
Covered like edge to edge just with solar panels. And they're doing it because of clean energy, but like
no, they're not. China doesn't give a fuck about
I know China doesn't care, but like that's like the Greenpeace people. That's what they want solar for. But if you think about it, and they're probably like, ooh, solar power, but like if you think about it, there's like all those animals that used to live on that mountain and all the plants, and now it's just covered with black glass.
Yep.
One of my favorites was somebody posted there was a town that had done a bunch of solar panels in like an open field, and then they decided they didn't like how it looked, so they planted trees. I'm not making this up. There's like they're covered. There are solar panels like in a forest. I'm like,
oh my God.
Bravo.
Yeah, we went out on Sunday, and we were driving back from somewhere, and we were driving past Progressive. Progressive, the insurance place.
Flow,
Progressive, yes. And they're big in Cleveland. Like they're one of the biggest employers in the Cleveland area.
Okay, so they're out of Cleveland, like Geico's here in Virginia, or one of their big offices in Virginia. I don't know if they're based.
Well, I guess they're. I don't know if they're like just a Cleveland company, but they're one of the biggest employers in the area. I don't know. I haven't paid that much attention. I just know that like every other person works there.
They have a big office in Cleveland.
Giant office in Cleveland.
Sorry to detract. My apologies.
Yes. So we're driving past their thing on the highway, and they have their building, and then behind the building there's like land and then highway, right? So this whole section of land was covered in solar panels. Okay, but being Cleveland, they were covered in snow.
Oh my God.
And how much sun does Cleveland get, really?
In this time of year, damn little.
Damn little. But I mean, like any time of year, not enough to warrant solar panels, I would think.
Yeah.
But yeah, on Sunday they were covered in snow, and I was just like, oh,
really generate the old electricity there. Yeah. Yeah.
Also,
tonight.
But that's the thing, Brita. Those aren't on the ground. They're raised up, right?
What?
The solar panels. They're up on like a platform or something, right? They're not directly on the ground.
Do I have to explain snow to you? Alan.
Wait where I'm going. You'll see where I'm going in a second.
Okay.
They're not on the ground. They're in the air.
Kinda.
So they're gonna freeze and stay frozen
Yes.
all winter
Cold.
long. They're gonna be covered in ice and snow all winter long,
They're going to
basically.
be useless for like 5 months out of the year.
Because they don't,
5 months.
they don't get to. Well, you know how it is when the first time it snows, everything on the ground it melts, right? Because the ground's still warm.
Yeah.
But
it's like the bridge theory. Like bridge
exactly.
Yep. Bridge freezes first.
Even worse though, because they're like metal and glass. That gets cold.
Yep.
No heat retention at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know what they use them for.
It's virtue signaling.
Well, they don't use them for generating electricity. That's for sure.
Well, the guy, the owner of Progressive, he's notorious, super lefty guy. So he's progressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and of course, solar panels are made from hemp and renewable resources, right? Oh wait, no. They're toxic chemicals mined in China by slave labor.
They're made, exactly. Yeah. They're made by slave labor in China, right?
It's so environmentally. The fucking idiot Granholm. I've got a Chevy Bolt and I use the solar power in my home.
The other thing
runs on sunshine.
Yeah, the other thing they don't tell you is solar panels degrade over time.
Oh.
They have a useful life of
that makes sense.
Somewhat less than 30 years. So and that's a degrade. It's like it's like the tires on your car. When your tires are new and they tell you they got a 50,000 mile warranty. But when you see your tires after 50,000 miles and they got like 2/32 of an inch of tread life, they're not the same. And the solar panels are the same way. They might say, oh yeah, these are good for 30 years, but halfway, it's like the battery on your cell phone. Like halfway through, the power output declines so much that.
Alan, let me ask you a question.
Yes, Jay.
You guys get hail, don't you?
Oh yeah.
I bet hail isn't kind to solar panels.
Hail wrecks solar panels. Just literally wrecks them.
And again, if you want to have solar power, that's great. I wish I could afford. I would love to throw some solar panels up on the roof to have an auxiliary power source. It'd be great.
Yeah, but Jay, the amount of money that it would cost
to do it,
is not worth it.
Exactly. Wait, they roll it in and blah blah blah. It's still like 25 or 30 grand.
Right.
I looked into when we built our house 20 plus years ago. It was like, no, thank you.
Wow.
No.
Yeah, it's like it's the same thing as it's all this bullshit. This is people that can't do math, right? So it's like it's like when I bought this house, the house has single pane windows, and the realtor's like, oh, it'd be better if it had double pane windows. And I was like, yeah, but it has single pane. Why would I put double pane in? Well, if you put double pane in, you'll get better resale value. I'm like, yeah, but. And I did the math, and I'm like, and he's like, oh, it'll save you electricity, all this kind of stuff. And I did the math, and it would take over 30 years in electricity savings to pay for the windows. And I guarantee you, I'm not going to live in this house for 30 years. So,
right.
In the same, solar panels are the same thing. And the windmills are the worst.
Oh, yeah.
Because none of the solar or solar or wind power is viable without government subsidy. So the electricity from those things actually costs more. You just don't see it because the government subsidizes it.
Right. Makes people feel good.
And the generators, those giant generators, the amount of money it costs to build them, they don't generate enough electricity to pay themselves off without the government subsidy. They are a net negative. And yet somehow nuclear is bad.
Yeah, well, because of Chernobyl or 3 Mile Island. But
those are plants built and designed in the 50s.
And yeah, but it's what people remember.
Also, I think I've said this before. You can blame the government for that. because they could have built safe reactors, but safe reactors don't generate fuel for nuclear bombs. So,
Right.
but
Priorities.
Yep.
Does anybody have a show and tell?
I have a cool show and tell. I'm not gonna lie.
Show it.
I'm gonna have to step back for this.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
I have a tomahawk.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow, Jay.
This
What?
was. I have a tomahawk.
That's nice.
Is this a recent acquisition, or have you had this?
Yes, it is. This is fairly recent.
Cool.
It has a point. It's kind of sharp, and the blade
Jay,
is relatively sharp.
do me a favor.
Too. Yes.
Paint your face blue and get a picture of you holding that.
Freedom!
Oh my God.
So yes, it is the Sqrpt Woods
Nice.
Kangi. I don't know. It's Kangee. So it's really actually kind of neat in that it is just friction fit.
Oh.
So that if this breaks, you can basically grab any stick and ram the head on.
Replace it. Yeah.
So it's neat. It's really, really neat. It was a work acquisition. So, but I was very pleased to
nice
give it a forever home.
What's that? What's that little
cool.
half moon thing in the bottom of the blade for? The notch. What's that for?
I have it. I think it's directional.
Okay.
So you can, if you need to do very
you're
shaving,
shave the kindling and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're trying to shave a little bark off to get a fire going, stuff like that.
Nice.
It's neat, and it's right by my desk. So,
for when somebody attacks you with a knife instead of a pistol, and you have to have
you
have to have the equivalent weapon to fight them off with.
Right. If somebody attacks me with an axe, I can respond with my hatchet because it's smaller.
Now you need a sword just in case.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, you have to have a sword, but you also have to have a really small knife too.
Right. And a tiny pistol.
I've got a North American Arms.
There you go.
Very small.
Because apparently proportional response is all.
I hate that gun, Jay.
Yeah.
He hated it.
That's the one gun Brita fired. It was like, I hate this gun.
Ugh, take it away.
Do you have a show and tell, Brita?
I'm sitting on it.
Oh. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yeah.
We have a chair.
You can see it.
Ooh.
Yeah. Can you see it?
Yes.
I do see it.
Very cool.
I know what that chair is from.
It's a very cool chair, right?
Yes, it is. It's an institutional chair.
So this chair, I imagine, was made in the 60s. And it is from the library where I work. And it is the same library I grew up going to. So when Brita was a little girl, she may have sat in this chair. But anyway. So at my dirty desk. So a while ago, the library director, she had set about cleaning out the basement of the library. And look, my nail polish collection. Everybody gets to see all my stuff tonight. So she was cleaning out the library basement, and she had all these chairs stacked up. I was like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm getting rid of those. Because she had rented dumpsters. She's like, I'm just gonna put them in the dumpsters. What?
Oh no.
What? Yeah.
Please tell me you took them all.
I took 5 of them. I have 5 of them.
Oh my
and
God. Go back for more.
They're gone. They're not in the dumpster though. I found homes for them.
Oh, okay.
So
good.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. That would have been a criminal act.
Yeah, I know, they're beautiful. They're kind of like that, like mid-century modern-ish
Yeah, but
You know,
rock solid build.
but they're solid
Yeah.
wood. They're beautifully constructed, and they are made by, God, I can't remember the name of the company now. I'm blanking out, but they're made by an Ohio company, which is now out of business. But this company was like, for decades, made furniture for offices, libraries, and courtrooms. And if you think in your head of like the classic courtroom type of furniture, like, you know, the wood chairs
Sure.
that's this company. And they, you know, they made all sorts of styles going through the decades, you know, and she was gonna just throw them away. So yeah. And they're like solid wood. I mean, they're beautiful, like sturdy construction.
That's
Beautiful.
a fantastic chair. I mean,
It needs to be refinished a little bit, but
you know, you're going to pay someone to haul it away in a dumpster. It's wood. Give it a Viking funeral, for crying out loud.
you know,
that's better than throwing it in a dumpster.
I could
it's
probably
better
sell
that
these.
you rescued it. You know,
Yeah.
Of course.
But I love these chairs. I've always, my entire life, I've loved these chairs because I've been going to that library since I was teeny weeny. And I've always loved like this sort of style of furniture. And I just was like aghast, like how you can't throw them away. You just can't.
Well,
so
you couldn't get a card catalog, but at least you got a chair.
That's right. So I have 5 of these. I don't know what I'm going to do with the other 4.
When they say take
Sounds
your
like a
seat,
dining room
that's
set.
not what they mean.
Yeah, maybe.
Sounds like a dining room set.
Yeah, but they're
There you go.
really comfortable and really sturdy, and love them. So
Very nice.
Excellent.
there you go.
And Alan has another sword, I'm sure.
I do not actually.
No,
I don't really have anything.
you don't have anything.
Wow.
Oh,
I got a
I
cat.
it's your show, and you're.
I am disappointed.
There's a cat over there. Jerwin J. It's been an hour.
Oh my gosh!
That's funny. There, you can see my cat sleeping on the
Trying to
sofa.
find it's the BL Marble Chair Company.
Oh, whoops!
So
And it
you're
was
saying
made in
So-
Bedford, Ohio, and the company started.
so, Brita,
Yes,
you're saying the
1894.
library lost its marbles.
It did, but I got their marbles. 1910, the company started producing office furniture. So, you know, if you look up BL Marble chair, you'll probably see chairs that you recognize from your past. You know,
From being in court many times.
being in court or going to an office or, you know, library or whatever. So, yeah, good stuff. Actually, Mike was moving these chairs around. He brought them. They were in the garage, and then he brought them in and put them in the basement. And he's like, "Oh my God, they're all like screwed together, and they're really sturdy." I'm like, "Yeah, they're like real furniture.
It's not just glue and friggin' particle board."
I have a hard time buying new furniture anymore.
It all sucks
because it's all
terrible.
made out of like cardboard and stuff, you know, and
it's
nothing
compressed
stays,
peanut sweepings.
You know, the chairs all fall apart and.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why I buy a lot of IKEA stuff because
it's disposable. You can buy a new one next year.
Well, the thing about IKEA is at least that most of it's made out of real wood.
Oh.
So
not particle board.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned that, Alan, because when we moved down here, we bought new chairs at IKEA for our kitchen table. Our children had destroyed a couple.
They do.
So, and as they do.
Yeah.
So we went to IKEA. You know, we had just moved in, and we needed a bed for my daughter's room, and both kids needed desks, and you know, stuff like that. So it was like, okay, we got the truck, drove the truck out to IKEA, and we found 4 chairs, $25 each for the kitchen. You know, and we figured it was like, you know, we'll bring them home, and if the kids ruin them in a year,
Right.
100, 50
Sure.
bucks a year isn't a big deal. They're still in our kitchen more than 8 years later.
Yep.
Huh.
Or no, not quite 8 years. It'll be 8 years next month.
Nice.
8 years, 25 bucks, 100 bucks over 8 years.
Yep.
It's like $12 a year at this point.
Yeah.
I love it. But yeah,
not
it is.
not
It's actual
sponsored
wood.
by IKEA.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And after all the IKEA stuff I put together, it is good stuff. I mean, the desks are still holding up, and
They're what
Yeah.
they are. You
yeah,
can't.
so
You can't
you have to
find.
put in a fair amount of work.
Yeah, but if you go buy furniture at some furniture store, it's not. It's in a lot of cases less well made.
Yeah, I read an interesting article from someone, and they have been going to thrift stores since they were like young, and they were saying that the stuff like furniture, even clothing, probably at this point, but that you can get in thrift stores now compared to like what you get in thrift stores, say in the 90s, is just proving that the middle class is living a lower standard of,
Oh, I'm sure.
we aren't able to access,
Well,
good
yeah,
materials
clearly.
anymore. It's yeah.
We sacrificed it for price.
Well, it's not only that, but the middle class makes less money now than they used to.
Yeah.
So
We can't afford like nice
can't
furniture
afford-
anymore. It's all particle
Right.
board and all IKEA
well,
stuff.
look at
And
think of the
not wood
furniture.
anymore.
Think of the furniture that was in your grandmother's house. It was
Yeah.
all like solid wood,
ugly as hell, but
Yeah, but
Sorry,
solid
Helen.
wood.
My grandparents were Italian. Every piece of furniture was covered in plastic. I have
Well,
no idea what it was like.
Yeah, but it was solid wood. It was well made. It was probably expensive, but it wasn't insanely expensive. And
Right.
you can't if you can even find anything made that way now, it'd be thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, it'd be insanely expensive.
Ask me how much I just paid for my bed.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's crazy. And if you look at you see the famous graph of the since 1971
Good year.
the returns to the middle class have flatlined, and the returns to the 1% have gone like shoot up in the air. All the gains in productivity in the last 50 years have not gone to the middle class at all. So
Starting to sound like a communist there, Alan.
I'm not sounding like a communist. I'm sounding like somebody that's sick and tired of the crony capitalism, corporate grift bullshit. The political damn bankers in the Federal Reserve.
He starts talking about revenuers. We're gonna
Oh boy.
trouble.
The revenuers. Don't get
Them
me started about the
revenuers.
revenuers.
But it's okay.
What
Joe
was
Biden's going to end all that, Alan.
What was the stamp tax? What percentage?
It was a tax on stamps.
Yeah, but what was the percentage of the stamp tax in the 1700s?
3%.
Yeah. And they fought a revolution over that.
Yeah, but they only had flintlocks, Alan. Those aren't dangerous at all.
That's right. They're not even firearms.
That's all the Second Amendment. That's all the Second Amendment key says you can have. They tweeted.
Yeah. So if I get my trusty Kentucky rifle and go walking down the street, everything will be perfectly okay, right? Well, I'm in Texas. It probably would be okay.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean.
Although now I'd probably be okay too.
Yeah, you would. What about in Massachusetts? I bet it's totally illegal in Massachusetts.
Okay, I am not making this up. You can Google it. 1998, when they passed the Massachusetts gun control law, this was the one that mandated the approved firearms roster for handguns and assault weapons ban was continued, blah, 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 blah. Well, they mandated trigger locks, safe storage laws, everything. They forgot to exempt not firearms like muskets.
Oh.
So that the Massachusetts State House was in violation of the law it had passed because there is a musket over one of the entryways. So rather than put a trigger lock on a musket, they wrote in an exemption that, primitive weapons were not affected.
Oh, really? I am surprised.
Drive-by flintlock shootings were
what
not a
though?
factor.
I know this for a fact that because it is you can Google it for a little bit, but because black powder pistols are not firearms, you could order them through the mail, and there's no felony in possession or anything like that. So a lot of the criminal element in a lot of the cities have taken to buying like the cap and ball revolvers and carrying those because they are not illegal for them to carry.
Do they shoot them like a?
I have no idea, but I just know. I just know because you can order them. You can order them online. There's no FFL involved. They just ship it to you unless you're in. I think there's a couple of states where they're illegal because of state laws. But I'm just saying that these are not. They're not serialized. They're not traceable. They're not anything, and it spits a hunk of lead out that kills you just as dead as any modern firearm. So
sure.
I'm just saying it's a thing.
It's only a matter of time before even your smokeless powder cartridges. We're going to have something that replaces the projectile firing weapon. And someday somebody's going to be going, you can order an AR-15 and nobody cares. Well, sure, it's not a M40 plasma cannon in the 40 milliwatt range.
Right.
I know I butchered that. I'm sorry. We're going to get angry letters.
Talking about.
We get angry letters. Actually,
I'll be back.
Uzi 9mm. But But again,
that's right. Jay's ready to go to the Kenosha riots.
With my tomahawk.
Just have to be prepared to take a beating.
Yes. That's exactly, that. Well, that's where we're headed. Look at England.
Yep.
Somebody breaks into your house. You said it earlier. You
cannot defend yourself.
Honestly, and this is, I don't understand why this doesn't happen more. I wasn't defending myself. I grabbed it. He was out on the street. I grabbed him in and mugged him. They'll be like, "Oh, you're all set then."
Oh.
Set yourself up as the criminal. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I wasn't defending myself. This guy was just walking by, so I grabbed him in and started beating on him to steal his wallet. And they'll be like, "Oh, let us write you a ticket."
Oh yeah.
Did you hear about the latest hero in Great Britain? The taxi driver who locked.
Oh yeah, that guy.
And he's being hailed as a hero, and is he still alive? Did he survive? I don't know.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, because he got out of the car.
Probably, but
I don't.
I just think it's interesting that he's being hailed as a hero for saving a whole bunch of other people's lives. But if you are in defense of your own life, that's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, all he did was get out of the car.
No, he was in the car.
I know, but he didn't like attack the bomber. He didn't kill the bomber himself.
Yeah.
I'm sure if he had for some reason happened to have a knife, oh my God, or a gun and attacked the bomber, they would have brought him on charges. Yeah. So
you think?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Or a narwhal tusk.
The fact that he's a hero is because he basically got up and walked away.
He bravely ran away.
That's right, Sir Robin. So the question I had, And I've been in some taxis. I'm not a frequent taxi rider, but do they have doors that lock that you can't get out of? Kind of like a police car?
Yeah,
What the fuck?
I was like, what? Hold on a minute here.
Yeah,
That's disconcerting.
it is disconcerting.
You can be locked in the back of a taxi.
right.
Maybe they have like the child safety lock kind of thing.
Maybe. I don't know.
You know,
But
'cause,
still,
like-
Now there's a good question. That is a
Right?
good question. Because if they had the child safety
'Cause-
locks engaged,
yeah, but if you get locked in a taxi like that, that's false imprisonment. I mean, that's
because
a
he looks
thing.
Muslim.
Well, the guy
I'm surprised they
did
didn't
the
charge him with
terrorist guy
that.
die?
Oh, yeah.
The splody guy?
Yeah,
He
blew
got
himself up.
exploded
Yeah.
He's
all over the inside of
And
the taxi.
surprise, surprise, he was a Muslim.
No.
Yes.
Really?
Oh yeah. Shock. I
believe
know.
that.
Shocking, right? Well, we've gone like 20 minutes long. So
Okay.
super extra show. This is like a show and a third.
yeah, but we didn't do a show last week. And honestly, we're probably not going to do a show next week.
Why? Oh,
Because
Thanksgiving.
it's Thanksgiving.
My favorite holiday.
Why is it your favorite? It's not your favorite holiday.
It is not my favorite. I don't like turkey.
Yeah. You like the cranberry in the can, though.
I like the cranberry in the can. That's a highlight of my day.
And you like the pumpkin pie.
Yes. That's
So-
yes.
I like
it.
turkey on Thanksgiving, and that's it.
I don't even like turkey on Thanksgiving.
I will. It's like a tradition, It's
Yeah.
I can deal with it for
I think
Thanksgiving.
I'm just going to order a brisket from the Corkscrew
Well,
That sounds good.
that also sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm actually
for like $100.
I'm actually going to be on the aircraft carrier with my son.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, how exciting!
They opened it up because it's in port.
where?
That's
Which
Oh my
we sold it-
god,
we sold-
awesome!
in Florida or?
No, he's in Norfolk.
Oh, he's in Norfolk. Oh, okay.
Or I think technically Virginia Beach, but
Oh, that'll be
That's
fun.
so cool, Jay.
so we're going to drive down and do Thanksgiving on the
Yay.
aircraft carrier, which is
Yay!
I'm really looking forward to
That'll
it,
be
even if I
fun.
can't take pictures.
Well, it's-
That doesn't surprise me, but
Oh, they said no pictures.
Yeah.
they're
No.
like no.
Not even like in the mess hall.
So no,
Okay.
my son is responsible for us. I don't want to do anything that's going to get
okay.
him in
Yeah, you
any
don't wanna get him in
even
trouble.
potential. So
Sure.
it's like
Right.
we're going to try to do some like a picture like in the parking lot with the ship in the background because it's an aircraft carrier. It's hard
Right.
to miss.
Right.
Yeah.
Hard to
So-
miss.
You can get half a mile away and it'll still be in the background.
You'll still see it. Yeah. You
That's
don't
so cool.
hide them. You
Yeah.
don't hide them. So yeah, he's so funny. He calls me up. He's like, Dad, it's $7.10 a person. Like, Joe, they're losing money at that, but
I think we
I'm
can
sure
handle
you-
it, Joe.
yeah,
That's
I'm like,
fine.
We got it. Don't worry. So
That'll be great.
and
That'll
then
be fun.
Yeah.
so we
That'll
go
be
down.
We'll want to hear the story.
We'll definitely have a story, and then we're gonna come home. We think it's great. It's about a 3-hour drive, so we're gonna eat a whole bunch of turkey, and we're gonna get in the car and kind of drive. I'm gonna try not to fall asleep. I'll have to have coffee, but and we'll get home, and my daughter's gonna make us dessert, which is awesome.
Oh, wow.
This is why you have kids, man.
That's absolutely it.
seems like
it's like I
the
love
reason.
this. This is gonna be my best Thanksgiving ever. I don't have to cook. I don't have to clean. We have some
Nice.
pie.
All you have to do
I'm
is
gonna
sit back and undo your belt.
I'm gonna have to run about 45 miles, but it's okay. It's worth it. It's worth it.
All right. Well, everybody have a good Thanksgiving.
Good.
We'll be back in
Alrighty.
a
Yes.
couple of weeks. And
A couple of weeks just
Okay.
in time for Christmas.
this was episode, I don't think did I update it? Here.
Oof.
I'll show the thing.
431.
431.
That is a lot of episodes.
It absolutely is.
We will hit 450 on or about our anniversary next year.
Wow.
Won't that be fun?
What are we gonna do for the 500th show?
Quit.
I don't know.
Nice round number. The
I'll have to
end.
figure out.
Yeah.
I'll have to figure out when that'll be. That'll be in like 2023 sometime.
Oh my
Well,
lord.
you figure
Okay,
it's
I'm going to bed.
69. So that's, over a year, even at.
Yeah, it'll be in 2023 sometime.
All right. Good night, Brita.
Look forward to it.
I love that chair, by the way.
Yep.
That's an
Thanks.
awesome chair.
All right. Bye, everyone.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.